Should women over 50 wear flat shoes? I'm going to share with you what's happened to my feet after wearing barefoot shoes for almost 4 years, why it matters at our age, and how they've really helped me to stay stable and active. Plus, I'm going to show you that it's not all or nothing. You can still wear cute shoes when you want to. My barefoot shoes were actually a gift for me from my kids for my birthday in 2022. So I've had them for almost 4 years now. I don't wear them every single day, but if I had a cuter pair, I might. First, let's talk about what barefoot shoes are. When I first heard about barefoot shoes, I was thinking of those shoes that were like the toe socks that had the individual spots for the toes, and I thought, oh my, there's no way I'm going to wear those. I don't care how good they are for my feet. I have worn high heels on and off throughout my life, mostly going out and on my downtime, because as a nurse I wore scrubs and very, let's say, ugly shoes. I was one of the ones that wore the clog type shoe that had a really wide footbed and toe box. So in a sense, I was already used to wearing very comfortable shoes. They had quite a big sole on them. So here's an explanation of what I've learned about barefoot shoes. First, they have a zero drop. That means that the heel and toe are at the same level, no raised heel like in most of our regular shoes. Then they have a wide toe box. Your toes can spread out naturally instead of being squished together. And that's the actual part that I love about it. And if you're somebody that's worried about bunions, this would be something that probably might benefit you. The sole is thin and flexible, meaning that you can feel the ground beneath you, which helps with your balance and your foot strength, because your foot can move naturally and flex and extend as it needs to balance you. And there's no arch support. Your foot does all the work, which strengthens your natural foot arch over time, except with a little bit of protection for the bottoms of your feet from sharp objects and rough surfaces. Then there's also the different types of names that barefoot shoes can fall under. I think one of the most broader terms is minimalist shoes, and that kind of encompasses a whole range of different styles of these types of shoes. The next one is zero drop, meaning that they focus on that the heel to toe is level with no elevation. Then there is also the barefoot shoe, and that is kind of the most common name right now, and it emphasizes that your foot can move more naturally in the shoe. They can also be called natural footwear, which refers to the fact that they allow your foot to move more naturally in the shoe that you're wearing. Then some people just refer to them shoes with a wide toe box, because that's what's emphasized. Is that the wider area for the toes to splay out as naturally as possible. So those are some of the names that barefoot shoes might come under, and that's also a little bit about what the barefoot shoe is all about. So why is it so important for us? I think barefoot shoes would be wonderful throughout your life, but especially as we get older, we really need to think about our balance. A lot of us get more prone to falls and tripping and becoming a little bit unsteady as we get older. It could be from a wide range of things. It could be just weakness in our muscles. It could be something as simple as our sight is a little bit impaired, our depth perception is off. When we're at risk for falls, it really is good if we can have balance and strength in our feet and all the rest of our body to be able to stop us if we're in kind of that motion as if we're going to fall. The barefoot shoes have really helped me over the last little while. I love to wear them when I go out for any type of walk. The ones that I particularly have are with a grippier sole, so they're good for trails and where there's sand and gravel, because they'll help you not slide. And I find that it's so nice to be able to walk and actually feel the ground under my feet, and it doesn't hurt. It's not so thin that I would hurt myself when I'm walking, but it allows my foot to really bend and grab onto the branches and the roots as you're walking, so that you actually feel more stable. And whenever you're working your feet like that, that's actually building muscle and strengthening them. The thing is that we have so many nerve endings on our feet that they signal our brain. They send so many signals from our feet to what is going on. And all those signals help our body balance and align ourselves. If we don't have the sensation in our feet, you get neuropathy, cannot feel things, and you're in so much higher risk of falling when that happens. So it's really helpful when you can feel the ground underneath your feet. It will help you be more stable. Now, I'm not an expert on bunions, but I have known people that have bunions. I know people that have bunions. I know people that have had bunion surgery, and it's one of the most painful surgeries there is. And there's various information out there about the causes of bunions, whether there's some genetic factor or not. But if I think about it, and I don't know about you, but if you think about something being so constrained and in a position that's causing, well, for instance, we're wearing braces. We wear braces because we're moving, shifting our teeth, and we're forcefully, on purpose, putting extra pressure to move them in a certain direction. And when we wear those nice high heels with the pointy toes, or any kind of, even a sports shoe, running shoe, walking shoe, lifestyle shoe, whatever you want to call it, and they have a really nice slim shape to them, and if your foot isn't able to completely spread out, especially the toes, you're then putting that kind of restriction on the movement, and over time you wear those and you end up having shifts in your feet, shifts in the toes, and the joints all change. And I personally think, and some of the information is out there, that doing that to your feet over a long period of time is one of the causes of bunions. I think there's also other problems that happen because of this, such as calluses and all kinds of painful spots on your feet that over time can really impair how you can walk and move. And every time you start to favor one part of your body over another, it causes other shifts in your mobility and a flexibility and gait. So it's really important, I think, that we look after our feet in the best way possible. And I think if we let the foot move naturally, that it gets stronger. At least that's what I think. I've gone on hikes with my sisters or anybody, and when I see them walking around on the 1 or 2 inches of cushion on the bottom of their foot, all I can think is, number one, how can you feel what you're walking on and send the correct messages to your brain about your balance? And second, they actually look like they're walking on a tightrope. It looks like you're literally having to work a lot harder to try to figure out where you are. It's like strapping a bunch of sponges to the bottoms of your feet and then walking on that. And how safe and stable do you feel if you did that? I've worn lots of high heels. And there's a period of time when I left nursing and I was working in medical sales, and I had to dress up, and I wore a lot of heels at that point, like throughout the week as well as weekends. So I was wearing them a lot. And it's amazing how your foot changes, because now when I try to put high heels on that are high and have a narrow toe, it is like my foot will not fit in there. So your foot does change shape when you wear more wider toe box shoes. It isn't going to be the same as when I used to be able to conform and get my foot into those types of shoes. And that is evidence enough that your feet are changing shape. Our feet were never meant to look pointy like that unless you have the most narrowest tiny feet. But even then, the toes have a job. The toes have a job to do, and we're not letting them do that job, as well as the rest of your foot. Your ankle strength, everything depends on your feet being able to move correctly, and all the muscles in your feet and all the joints and the ligaments and everything that are in your feet. They need to move properly, and that will help all the way up your limbs, how you're able to manage. I had an accident. I was just sitting at the table. I'd kicked off my slippers and the doorbell rang, and I went to go answer the door, but I tripped over my slipper that was under my foot. It got caught up in there and I ended up falling on the hardwood floor. and I hurt my left foot quite bad. I didn't even realize how severely I hurt it. 3 toes and the top of my foot. This has been now over 2 months, and one of my toes is still not right. And the only thing that will help it is just to let it be able to move freely and not be constricted. If there's any pressure, either from the sides or the top on my foot, it's painful. But one thing I have noticed that there's a lot more brands out there than when I first started looking into this several years ago. And I'm so curious how they stand up, because I've had the Vivo barefoot shoes now for almost 4 years and I love them, but I'm curious about some other brands to see how, if I can fit them into my everyday life. I want to say that if I can get 500 likes on this video, I will buy several brands just because I need them. I want to have them for my everyday, going to the clinic. I want to have them for maybe even just casual, days. Even though I've been looking at them, I haven't really decided which ones I'd like to try. But if I can get 500 likes on this video, I will buy a couple of brands and wear them and then give you my reviews on some cuter barefoot shoes and see how that goes. I also think that you don't have to wear them every single day. I don't wear them every single day, but I have noticed that when I now buy shoes, I want to make sure that they really let my toes spread out, because I cannot be comfortable anymore all day for 8, 9, 10 hours in shoes that aren't going to do that for me. I have been able to find shoes that aren't classified as barefoot shoes in the truest sense. Most of them are, though, the no drop. And I'm always looking for the wider toe box for shoes that I have to wear for many hours. There's definitely a change in your foot shape when you start doing this. And I think it's actually for the better. One of my main goals, and I've said this in many of my videos, is to stay fit and healthy for as long as I can. Especially now that I'm 60, I need to look after my bone health and make sure I don't fall down. And doing something as simple as wearing proper footwear will help prevent falls and will keep my feet strong, so I'm not even going to be at risk of falling. And if I do fall, I have a way better chance of healing properly or even stopping the fall completely. Let me know if you've ever tried barefoot shoes, or maybe you've got some right now. Tell me which ones you have, because I'm really curious. I really want to get 500 likes on this video so that I can buy myself a few different pairs from a few different brands, some really cute ones, because I know I've seen them now out there. I hope you have a great week. I will see you in the next video. Bye.